Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Soul Rehab Project. This is Sarah Saxby, and this is the podcast where we talk about lies, the lies that we tell ourselves to get through the day, and the lies that we have been told. In today's episode, I want to dig in a little bit more about how I've mentioned the two different realities, right? We have the inverted reality where we have been living all of our lives. It's the reality we believe is real, but it's backwards. And what we've been calling the new earth. Everything that I talk about is to help you guys live more of a life that's fluid, one that's not like you're just checking boxes all day and doing the same thing the next day. Because I know how that is. I know exactly how that is. And I don't want you to just manage your days, going through the motions, hitting deadlines, running errands, waiting for the weekend, thinking that one day it will all click and things will be different. Everything that I do is to help you guys live in a way that feels so much better and not so robotic, expecting that someday maybe some things will change. Let me start out by saying that if anything that I say resonates with you and you would like to support my work, you could do so on Substack by becoming a subscriber, a paid subscriber. You can schedule any sort of live session that you would like with me, from one-on-ones to small groups to larger speaking engagements. Or you can go to the tip jar basically on my homepage of Strategies for Happiness and leave a donation, as it's really energy reciprocity. It's supporting the work that I do so I can continue to do so. I realized that it helps for me to tell a story. And I know that's how my brain works. But a lot of times it provides more clarity when I give a story about the things that I say. When telling a story helps process it. And so my hope is, with this particular story, I will be able to show you what I mean by how the inverted reality, the reality we believe is real, the one we've been living in, is going to get harder. There is such a condensed period that we're in right now where things are collapsing, things are changing, they're shifting. And you don't have to be woo-woo, you don't have to be an astrologer or any of this stuff to realize that things are feeling very heavy and things are changing, things are being exposed. I'm going to tell a story using a show on Amazon, an Amazon series called The Man in the High Castle. Because I don't like a lot of shows and I don't watch TV, but that is one series that is deeper than what it looks like. And so let me explain that when I say the inverted reality, the one we think is real, and I know you'll agree with this because everything in our reality is backwards, right? You go to a doctor to find out what disease you have. It's not health. It's backwards. You go to school to learn how to be an obedient worker. It's not taking your genius. It's not taking the genius of a child and supporting that and building upon that. Everyone has to learn the same thing. It's like you have a menu of jobs to pick from and you go to school to do that job. So it's backwards, right? And think about the majority of people that do jobs all day long. Jobs. Because in the inverted reality, you have bills to pay. There's always debt. There's always a debt that has to be paid. Money wouldn't exist if there wasn't debt, right? Money isn't backed by anything. It's backed by debt. I was thinking about this for myself, and I've always worked in large corporations, fear-based corporations. They're all fear-based. They wouldn't be so controlling if they weren't fear-based. So I realized that when I worked in these corporations, that really the only way that I could get ahead was I had to pretend more. So think about that. So you work in a corporation where you're literally clocking in and clocking out because you have bills to pay. And does this corporation and quote unquote management Your superiors, right? Do they reward you for being true? Do they reward you for being honest? No, you would never do that. You would never do that because you'd lose your job, right?